Jim, tell us about your experience of folk with dystonia. How did you come across it in the first place?
I first noticed that I was having problems in 2001. I was living and working in Berlin. Had a job there, and I was freelancing with lots of the orchestras, having a great time. Playing was going really well, and at that time I was working with the Berliner Symphony Orchestra. They had a position free, the principal trombone position was free, or one of them, because they have double sections over there. And basically for about 3 or 4 months I was doing the job. It was going really well, playing really well, and all the brass section liked me. They wanted me for the job, but because the way things work over in Germany, you have to audition for the job. So the audition came up, and I decided to take about 3 weeks out of my job to practice for it, which I did, and everything was going well, practicing a lot, playing was going well, till about maybe a week and a half before the audition. And I was practicing my excerpts, and I was practicing Bolero, which I've played many times, and I was practicing it, and then all of a sudden I just split everything. And I can remember thinking to myself, God, what if that happens in the audition? So I was, okay, try it again, couldn't play it. Try it again, couldn't play it. I thought, okay, you're just tired, you've been practicing a lot, you're just tired, put it away, come back tomorrow. And it never felt the same again from that point. I got up the next day, and it just didn't feel right. I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but it just didn't feel right. And I just thought, I'm just tired. I was practicing maybe 4 or 5 hours a day. I thought, I've done too much. Just take it easy for the next week until the audition. So really scaled down the practice, just very simple things. Got to the day of the audition, picked the trombone up, and it just didn't feel right at all. Did the audition. It was a terrible, horrible experience. Didn't get the job. And just thought nothing of it. Just thought, okay, you got very nervous for the audition. You didn't play well. Forget about it. Go back to the job I was doing, which I did. And then even in the job I was doing, it never felt right. It was continually sort of battling with it and feeling very, very tired. And the job I was doing, it was a musical, so I was playing a show, eight shows a week, which up until that point I could do very easily. I could do 2 shows in a day and then go and do another gig in the evening and be absolutely fine. But then all of a sudden I'd do 1 show and be absolutely exhausted. So I thought something's wrong here. Something's definitely wrong. And it got progressively worse over the next month or so. I then had a very nasty accident which put me out of work for about 10 months. I broke my arm in 3 places and I couldn't play. So that took me out of the game for a while. Eventually got back to playing again, but it still didn't feel at all right. And then this was in about 2002. I decided to move back to England and started work over here, but continually struggling with it, and it got progressively worse, to the point where I thought, I've got to stop playing here. And that was in 2002, 2003.
So how did you find it affecting your playing? Was it like with a lot of them that your top notes
it was
first and you got notes, or what?
The first thing I noticed was it was just that something that was so natural to me for such a long time, and I would pick up the trombone and it sort of felt like I didn't really know what to do. I'd pick the trombone up and try and tongue something, and there was something I can't really put my finger on what it was, but there was just a hesitancy in what I was doing, and that got worse and worse and then I started to get tension in the embouchure. I started to get movements in the chin every time I tried to play, and it got to a point where I literally couldn't play a note.
That hesitancy you talk about, can you say a bit more about it? How did it feel? Was it like were you just about getting something out?
Well, yeah, you pick the trombone up and you attempt to play, and it's almost like your mind goes blank. It's like you don't know what to do. It's a very, very strange thing.
Amazing. So you're in a situation where you can't play. You've broken your arm anyway, so, and it's just there. So how did you start looking for help?
Well, initially, I mean, at the time I had no clue about focal dystonia. I just thought I'd had a breakdown of my technique. So I took some time off. This was in 2003 to practice, and I started having lessons with Kevin Price, who used to be principal trombone of Liverpool Philharmonic, who was great, absolutely fantastic, and my playing improved after about a year to a point where I thought I can take some work on again. Only a very limited work, not the work I really wanted to do, which I did, but I never sort of conquered the problem, so I was still struggling with it, but I felt I could do some sort of work, and that continued for about, until a year ago, and then it completely collapsed again. I couldn't cleanly articulate a note. All my low register had gone, my high register had gone, my sound had gone. Pretty much everything about, my technique had disappeared. I had tensions, I started to get pain in my face, in my teeth. I literally couldn't even blow air through the instrument without some sort of tension coming. And that's when I decided I really had to sort it out or put my trombones on eBay. And that's when that's when I looked into focal dystonia, which was terrifying, because when you Google focal dystonia, everyone just says if you've got that, then that's it, game over.
Some of those descriptions may sound all too familiar to sufferers of focal dystonia. In the next film, I'll be travelling to Madrid to meet Joaquin Fabra, and we'll be hearing how he developed the condition. Hope to see you there.